Hello, friends. As you know, students have really struggled a lot in CA final November 20 exam as regards SCMP subject. Many of our friends who were expecting 80 plus have just scored 40 plus and some below 40 as well. So there is definitely some mismatch in what we are delivering in exam and the expectations of institute. So I was also giving my best to find out and create a bridge for you all that you can understand what is actually expected by institute while writing your exam paper. November 20 SJC witnessed highest score of 70. Okay, so I was in one video saying about that highest score, and suddenly one of our friend, or you can say our YouTube viewer only, YouTube student only, he commented that, sir, one of my friend scored 83 in SCMP and that too without tuition. So we were all very excited, and I'm grateful that to that student who connected us with this student, and selflessly this student who scored 83 has actually contributed to welfare of CA students community by sharing his way of preparation, his answer paper with us to help us know what is actually expected from your answer script in your examination. Friends, before I take you to the actual review of the paper where the students scored 83, I first like to just put up two important things. Thing number one is you will have to practice the practical. You can't just go through it. Number two is you will have to memorize the points of theory question. You can't just create points of your own. Just these two things, if you remember, you are through. You cannot create your own points, but you can create your own explanation. You can create your own explanation, but you cannot create your own points. Next, when you're preparing for exam, you cannot take theory part of a practical question casually. Usually many of practical questions, if you'll see your institute resources, many of practical questions have recommend, advise, or some comments which we tend to take casually as if we are just reading and we feel that we will be able to write it. But point is, when those are coming in exam, you're not able to write it as per the institute expectation. So guys, in this video, I'm going to show you how this champion scored 83. Interestingly, he did not take any tuition for SCMP subject. By doing self-study of this subject, he could score this marks. So it's not that tuition will change everything. Please note this also, that tuition cannot give you marks. It's your hard work. You know what? In your preparation, there are three phases. One is tuition, which is equal to understanding of the subject, and that's just 30% or 1/3 of what is required for your 100% preparation. Rest 2/3 is your own effort. Own effort as in you will have to now write the side points, then you'll have to remember the points, then lastly you'll have to revise continuously, attempt some papers to understand how much time you're taking to write one answer. So 2/3 is still on your court, on your side. You can't say just that only tuition is enough. Okay, so first I will take you to straight away the last page. In order to understand fully about what we will talk in this video, you must first acquaint yourself as to what has come in November 20 exam. So if you'll see, this champion have attempted question number 1 and he scored 16 marks, whereas I saw many papers of students where in question number 1 they scored 3 marks, 4 marks, hardly 6 marks, and he bagged this marks in this question number 1. Then he attempted question number 4 where he scored full marks in 4EB, which most of the students did, and in 4C where many of students could not score, and he also could not score much. That's transfer pricing question. In question number 5A and 5B, he could manage to score 10 out of 10 here and 7 here, and I feel 5A 5B many of students have done correctly. In question 6 he did not attempt. Question 2 and 3, here he backed the score because these were two straightforward matching questions from your institute material, and here he backed this marks fully. You see, out of 20 he scored 19 and 18, and here many of students who could not score lost a lot of their marks because of lack of practice and lack of attention towards the theory part in the practical question. 2 number was of this target costing and 3 number was of economic value added. So he could score huge marks into this 2 questions, and many of the papers which I have seen, they did lot of silly mistakes, and there was of course some ambiguity in the question of target costing, so because of that they lost some marks. But anyway, this guy got it everything correct. I will also say that he was also at the same time lucky that when you read the question there are several interpretations of single lines. Okay, जब आप कोई एक लाइन को पढ़ते हो आपको बहुत सारा इंटरप्रिटेशन आता है. So out of that, which one is correct interpretation as per institute also is really a matter of luck. So he got clicked with some things and he did it naturally. So his interpretation in target costing sum got correct, and rest all went into mistakes. So institute was not flexible here. So that's how he could not, others could not score, but he could score. Okay. So I'm not just going to show you this, I will show you everything. Let us come to question number 1, the first question which he attempted. Let us see how to write. If you remember the first question, economy, efficiency and effectiveness, the Taj Mahal question, economy, efficiency and effectiveness question. I recently met one of our qualified student of November 20. He said that, sir, in November 19, this economy, efficiency, effectiveness had come, so I thought that definitely November 20 this should not come, but it again came, and it was to my luck. So I attempted that question at end, and sir, I could just write some lines about it, and I was not very much worried. I started focusing on rest 80 marks, and I was sure that I will pass in those 80 marks attempt. So it was his strategy, but usually we always want that you do full 100%, but I always recommend you that first question, usually I've seen it's compulsory as well as lengthy question and each and every paper nowadays. So if you're not very confident about the first question, do it at the end. This is my suggestion, okay, my recommendation. But if you know that this is a very easy question and straight question which you know better, then you can continue with first question. So this guy also did the first question. Before showing you this, I want to show you some points from your institute suggested answer first for question number 1, so that you will be able to understand whether he has written as per institute expectation or not. So if you will see, recommend guidelines was there to assess economy, efficiency and effectiveness. Guidelines to assess. The second question was challenges. The third question was general guidelines, how the audit team may conclude the audit. So you have this first paragraph as economy, efficiency and effectiveness thing, And then in economy, you see the bold lines. Institute is expecting that these points must be there. The bold means these points must have been there in your answer script, and unbold means you could have written those things in a different way also. The dimension of economy, what is economy, you have to write, and then you have to write about economy of cleaning and maintaining of garden area inside the campus. Cleaning expenses need to be bifurcated into different cost centers, such as payment made to contractor, expenses of emptying waste, mobile messaging system. Then tendering process may be reviewed. Just try to see some points, okay? Then I will take you to the answer script, and then subcategories of these expenses into labor, material, van expenses, etc. Then afterwards compare all these with budgets. I've seen many copies for November 20, but none of them written these points, so that's why they could not score in this particular question. Okay, see, the point is, we don't try to understand why we could not score. We just say to institute we did not get marks. I don't know why they did not give marks, but point is what they're expecting, you have to understand that. So then afterwards this shall be compared to the budgets, and then after that, if actual exceed the budget, then government shall make comparison of cost with cost of similar cleaning operation. If found that cost is more, then cleaning operation are not economical and this may not be efficient. Okay, so you have seen the points here. अब आप यहाँ पे देखो ये बंदा कैसे लिखा है. So first paragraph is just introduction. So introduction is all right. There is no specified marks for introduction as in this particular question. But what is economy? Operations focused economical aspects of the project, classified into two parts: paid to contractors, amount spent for cleaning, further classified as amount of material, labor, compared with budget, review of tender process. Then if actual amount is more than the budget amount, expenditure should be compared with amounts spent by nearby local governments for similar activities. If it is more, then the project is considered to be not economical and also not effective. I was so shocked by reading this answer. How could he match everything? Isn't it? All the bold things, as if I felt later on that as if the institute has prepared this answer by referring to his copy, or maybe that he knew about what is the exact answer. But when he was interviewed, it was just his conviction to stick to institute resources, and he had studied quite a lot of time the case studies, like the case studies of institute. He reviewed it at least 4 or 5 times. Okay, you see the points, tendering process, everything he has written, and that's how he got full marks for this. Then let's check for efficiency. What is efficiency? Okay, volume of input consumed to derive the desired output. Then we have efficiency of cleaning and maintaining operation can be determined by checking log records. This could have details of activities carried out and resources utilized for them. For each of these activities, cost driver can be identified and certain metrics can be developed for analysis. There is an example that cost of cleaning per square meter of garden can be computed by cost of emptying each bin can be computed, or cost to respond each call. Then certain operational considerations have to be given. Certain stretches or corners of the garden may take more time or resources to clean. Cost of emptying because of landscaping structure. The structure may be odd even. Cost of emptying and re-clean the bin for use for dry and wet waste may be different. If resources for operations are disproportionate for certain parts of the garden, then multiple categories of the garden shall be formed and costs for each category need to be worked out. But data to this information will depend on the extent of details maintained in logs. This information has to be tracked over some period of time in order to understand trends in operations and related expenses. So trends in operations and related expenses. I'm just underlining the things that are key to any writing of answer. Then data collected from mobile messaging system should also be investigated. Frequency and area of campus regarding which complaints are frequent or maximum. Reasons for these lapses need to be taken from the contractor and the concerned workers in order to find out whether resources are being employed properly. So this is about efficiency. You have seen some points. Now let's come to this answer and see how he has written efficiency. Efficiency of operations can be analyzed by obtaining the records maintained by the control and the concerned department. These records will contain the expenditure details and also the details of resources utilized. From these we need to ascertain appropriate cost drivers. There is an example that total cost of operations of tractors. He has created a new example that is also valid, not a problem. It can be divided by total number of tractors to get the cost per tractor. However, while analyzing this cost, we need to give some consideration, like some parts or areas of garden may take more expenditure and resources because of existence of rock, soil, etc. The cost of maintaining those particular areas should be ascertained separately. You got it? The extent of analysis depends on how well the records are being maintained, how good or how well. We may analyze these records to identify the pattern of expenses over past few years. We need to analyze the complaints received from patrons from mobile messaging system, everything, and in the same way in the next paragraph. So point is how he got to know that he has to write about this, because the same question was there in your institute mat. Okay, luckily he was lucky enough that all the questions in this term were there from the institute mat. So he had thoroughly studied institute mat and he could write about it also. Studying is one part, but writing about it is another part. You see the way of writing. That means it's not just enough to understand what is 3E model. You will have to also understand how to apply the model for solving the problem. Okay, next is effectiveness. So let us see effectiveness. Thoda dekho. Effectiveness is about, what is effectiveness? In one paragraph of cleaning and maintaining operation will focus on how the actual cleanliness of garden area inside the campus compares with the desired level. The main thing here is compares with the desired level when budget was allocated. Then first is what constitutes litter. So it would be difficult to clean out every bit of dry leaf lying on the garden floor. However, it is possible to pick up every plastic bag or bottle or empty soft drink can. Hence, government authorities must be clear as to what constitute litter and tolerance level of each types of litter. Example of tolerance level of aluminum can dry leaves will be different because few of dry leaf may left behind even after cleaning. Quantity of waste collected can be the indicator to make the above assessment. Safety standards can also be identified. Feedback from patrons should be taken to understand whether the things have been effective or not. How many mobile messages are responded within the time gap of 12 hours, and surprise visits to inspect immediately after the cleaning operation would also provide sufficient evidence about the effectiveness of operation. So there are some points: surprise visit, mobile messaging, feedback, then safety standards, then what constitutes litter, and will it be possible to clean each and every litter. So let's check the answer. Effectiveness. So what is effectiveness? That actual level of performance is with desired level of performance or not. The same point he has written. भी क्या होता है ना, स्टूडेंट्स अब ये देखेंगे, आप लोग जब देख रहे होंगे तो आप लोग अगर नवंबर में एग्ज़ाम दिए ना तो आप वाव हो जाएंगे, वाव वाव हुआ, बट एट द सेम टाइम फिर आप बोलेंगे ये उसका कैलिबर है, मेरे से इतना नहीं होगा, मैं तो उतना ही कर लूँ बहुत. ऐसे थोड़ी होता है, वो भी एक बच्चा ही है, आप जैसा ही है. ही इज़ ऑल्सो जस्ट अ नॉर्मल ह्यूमन बींग लाइक यू. He just gave his 100%. He, it was his intuition also that he could understand. Institute might be referring to see the answers the way institute has written. So he did not try to create his own answer. वो मन से लिखने का जो एक हमारा आदत है ना, बस समझ लो फिर मन से लिखेंगे, उससे मार्क्स नहीं आएगा. इस चीज को समझिए. While it may not be possible to remove every bit of paper lying on the roads, it may not be possible to remove every bit of paper lying on the roads. It is possible to remove every aluminium can. Hence, first we need to determine which litter are to be cleaned within exception and exception limits for other litter. In order to assess effectiveness of policy making, we should clearly define the desired level of quality or desired level of litter. Safety standards should also be verified, and then data can this be obtained for this can be obtained from feedback of patrons. Government should also conduct some surprise checks. You see. Then there was another question, challenges, if you remember. So challenges are defining what constitutes litter, and another challenge which is there in your institute material is some sort of civic sense, because it's not possible to clean every time if people are always littering every time. So what constitute litter, and this one is two main point. Otherwise institute has given multiple bullets, but these two are the main points which are supposed to be written. So let's see his answer for challenges. Challenges involved are what constitutes litter and the attitude of the public patrons. So I've seen that here students have written challenges faced by not-for-profit organization, the basic challenges. They have not written according to the context of the case study. So if you don't understand what is expected from institute, then of course there would be less marking. Then for guidelines for the last part to assess, so there is a form of writing this answer. Form is, has the objective of cleaning operation been achieved as per the guidelines? This is the first question to ask. If the answer is yes, then are the expenses within the budget? Then if we will say the process is economical as well as efficient. If it is within the budget, it is called as economy and efficient both. And next, even if a cost overrun is there, it can be justified if the operation have been effective, because effectiveness is prime. In that case, audit team has to include whether all expenses incurred are indeed justified or not. If some extra expenses are incurred but effectiveness is sure, okay, then we can say that okay, this is justified even if some extra cost has been incurred. If the effectiveness has not been achieved, if the answer to A is no, then what is the difference from target? Is it marginal or huge? If the operations have not been entirely effective by only a marginal gap of say 95% success, then analysis of expenses can be made similar to point B. But however, if gap is large, then cleaning drive initiative has been ineffective, then alternate solutions of tackling the problem has to be seen, and that can be heavy penalty, additional funding from the government. Therefore, it has to be seen that you will have to apply the holistic approach. So this is the requirement of the institute, and let's see how this guy is presented. You see, the outcome of any audit may be determined on the basis of parameters of audit. The steps to be followed by audit team are: is the actual level stands similar in comparison with desired level of performance? If the answer to the above question is yes, then it means the project is effective. Then audit team has to determine whether actual cost incurred for the project. If it is less than the budget, then it is economical. Then we conclude that cleaning initiative is a success. If the actual costs are more than the budget, then we need to further analyze whether the contractor has utilized input effectively, then the resources are optimally utilized. If the answer is yes, we can say it is economical. However, if answer is no, then we need to analyze whether the project can be made more economical and efficient. So somehow he's trying to connect the same context. So it means that he is not copied from anywhere. Of course, he is writing from his own. And if the first question is no, then you have to see the actual percentage of effectiveness achieved. If it is almost 95%, then we can say that project is effective, and we can continue with the second step. And if there is huge variation, then actual level of performance has to be compared to desired level. Then we can conclude that project is a failure. The government has to look for other alternatives, impose of penalties for throwing litter, ask for more allocation of funds from the state government, and we can conclude the achievement of one of parameters need not mean the achievement of other parameters. Overall, the project should be holistically evaluated, means evaluated from all three perspectives. Okay, I hope you got the flow. See how much marks he got. Now, why he could not achieve full marks? Maybe some more points were expected by the institute which he also could not write. Some more points were expected by the institute which he could not write. Some 2-3 more points might have been expected, maybe something related to cost overrun, something related to maybe kind of introduction or conclusion, that we don't know. Actually, this marks breakup institute has not given. Okay, institute is writing alternate points are also possible, but this is very, very dangerous in my opinion. Don't go on this. When I was also teaching before, I was encouraging students that you write what you feel. Truly speaking, let us be very transparent, because I used to feel that this alternate points are also possible, means students' viewpoints would be welcomed, but the fact is it is not being welcomed. When we are checking the answer scripts, it means that they are not welcoming the alternate points. Even if it is written in suggested answer, they are not welcoming it. Alternate points means they want their points, they are saying alternate explanation, but not alternate points. The points has to be, what has been given. This is very risky to understand. Now in second question, if you remember, in this target costing there was a big confusion whether this is selling price or this is cost. So institute has solved it by taking this as cost, not the selling price. The institute has solved this by taking this as cost, not selling price. Okay, so most of the students, what they did when they calculated this actual cost, and then if you're adding 30% return on investment on this, the total price that is coming is 900. Maybe that they are seeing just relevant cost data, they are not giving all costs. There may be some other costs which are hidden costs. So with this particular thing did not click to many of the students who attempted this question, so they could not score in this question. Question 2 and question 3, this target costing question and 3 EVA question, were straightforward from institute, with just one ambiguity in question 2, that this particular line was confusing. Student got this completely correct in the एग्ज़ाम हॉल में जो इंटरप्रिटेशन आया उसको वो क्लिक कर गया, एकदम सही क्लिक कर गया, तो ये इसका मार्क्स बैग हो गया. और बाकी स्टूडेंट्स जो स्कोर नहीं कर पाए वो थ्योरी के लिए ब्लेम कर रहे हैं, बट पॉइंट इज एक्चुअली थ्योरी इज़ नॉट देयर प्रॉब्लम. द प्रॉब्लम विद देम वाज देयर इन क्वेश्चन 2 and 3 which were highly scoring where they could not score. Okay, because of some silly mistakes or misinterpretation. Okay, for 2 I don't blame them, but for 3 definitely I will say that it was students' fault that they did not practice those questions well, even though it was given in the institute material. Okay, so in this question the problem was to first find present selling price and profit. So present selling price is by taking 900 as full cost per set. Here only we actually confused ourselves that what will be the cost. So many students took cost here as this total. Okay, so that institute has not accepted. Okay, because this full cost per set has been directly taken, plus 225 is the desired profit. So this is 1125. Many students wrote here 900, but institute wants to check 1125. Profit per unit is 225, markup is 20%. Okay, so markup is 20%. 225 by 900 also has been given marks, which is 225 by 900 is 25%, or if you have done by taking 225 by 1125, that is by selling price, then also they are giving marks. Okay, so here this guy got it fully correct. Then for non-value adding activities, only machine setup was to be written. Okay, so what happened with the students, machine setup is the time required to get the machines and assembly line ready for production. NEC furniture spent 5,000 hours setting up, which does not add a value to furniture directly, hence it is a non-value adding activity. Point is, when we read, we don't focus on which is the non-value adding activity, it's only the setup. since assembly line was written, we also understood that when we were doing this question, oh, assembly is written, so assembly is also a non-value adding activity. No, assembly is not. Machines, what is machine setup? It is written here. Setup is the time required to get machines and assembly line ready. So this is a non-value adding activity. Now students have written both assembly line and setup is non-value adding. So those who have written both, they have got some negative mark, that is out of 2 they have got 1. But those who have written only setup, they have got full 2 out of 2 for this. And in part 3 most of them got incorrect because the present selling price is 1125. So using that you have to work out 1125 minus 10%. Most of them got that part incorrect, so because of that they had to also lose mark in this part 3a. So 1125 minus 10% of 1125 less desired return per set is 225. So target cost is 787.5. Revised cost per unit set is, revised cost per unit set is, if you see, 900 is the present cost per unit, reduction in material cost and incremental cost to print, so revised cost is coming 875. And if target cost is if you see 787.5 and current cost is 875, so cost reduction target required is 87.5. Here most of the students got this incorrect, and let me show you this particular answer of the student of question number 2. He has done 3 next. We'll come to 3 later. Yeah. You see, first part, full cost 900, 225, 1125, full marks you got, 25% on cost. Then mechanical assembly he has written, but at the end he has concluded setup is only non-value adding activity, so we got 2 out of 2. Then revised sale price is 1012.5, so new target cost, then revised cost is 875, so reduction required is 875. We got full marks. Okay, then lastly there was some recommendation required for this question at the end. If you remember the question, recommend what strategy the company should adopt to attain the target cost. So here you all have tried to write but not full, so it was of 10 marks. So what has to be written is, first you will have to write about all these questions. These were also important. Nobody wrote, but he wrote. These were given in the answers by the institute, and we don't mug it up. We thought that this is not so important, but point is institute is allocating marks to writing of this also. And next you have to also mention about that you have to take care of quality, utility and all. Then you have to also talk about inefficient use of material and labor hours. So corrective actions to be taken are, for material you will calculate MUV, so which will save how much cost, that has to be shown. Then for LEV, inefficiency, which will save how much cost, that you have to show. Bold means you have to show that. Then machine setup cost, you have to write about that how can setup time be reduced, and this is a big cost for us. So how this change should not adversely impact the production activity also. And assembly cost also can be reduced by seeing some more value analysis process. Here we can't say that you have to eliminate this, because we read about this machine assembly cost reduction here, so we प्राइमरीली हैव कंस्ट्रूड दैट कि ये नॉन वैल्यू एडिंग होगा. तो ऐसे नहीं होता है, ये नॉन वैल्यू एडिंग होगा ऐसे कैसे सोच सकते हो, ठीक है. सच दैट द स्टेप्स कैन बी कंबाइंड एंड हैंडल्ड बाय फ्यूअर पीपल. आप ऐसा वैल्यू एनालिसिस कर सकते हो जिससे कि नॉन वैल्यू एडिंग एलिमेंट असेंबली से हट जाए. सो इंस्टीट्यूट वाज लुकिंग फॉर 1 2 3 4, देन 5th paragraph about this, then possibly everything about this. So that's how the full marks would be allocated. Some of them have written about material, so material. Some of them written about labor, so labor. Okay, for machine setup it's a non-value adding activity, so you have to see that it should not have negative impact on the quality of the product. It should be carefully analyzed. Then machine assembly, see, some marks have been deducted here. He did not score full marks on this, but anyway, some marks have been allocated for writing these questions also. Can we substitute some of the parts? Can we eliminate unnecessary parts? Can the same products be produced in a better and simplified manner? Whether design can be changed in a better way? And for assembly, he did not get the marks because as for assembly, what was supposed to be written, he could not write. Okay, so 1 mark he got actually deducted for this, I think. Yeah, so total he got 19 marks in question number 2. Material, labor, setup, assembly, then other things, possibly maybe some conclusion was missing or some things which institute wants related to assembly. The institute was possibly requiring to mention about this value analysis, which was not making sense in his answer. So institute did not give marks for this particular thing. Okay, but anyway, he has written the company has to analyze whether it can be make some of the steps integrated with each other so that less number of labor hours may be required. However, it has to make sure that any reduction does not create any pressure. So point is, if those words are not coming, it's not just that mechanical assembly has to be written. In mechanical assembly, you have to talk about certain context which institute wants. His words were indirectly connecting to value analysis, but institute wants to see possibly this terminology for mechanical assembly value analysis, which is also given in italics. This means that this was required. Value analysis in italics means this was required to be mentioned, and then you could explain anything. What I've seen in some copies that if you have mentioned this correct terminology and explained it in totally wrong way also, they are not reading the explanation, they are giving you the marks. But examiners are searching for the terms. Possibly marks was not given because of not using the exact term, but this example was also correct. The term is important. What is important is this term. All right, I hope you are understanding how to score. Next, let's come to question number 3. It was a straightforward economic value added based question. Okay, so here if you will see, EVA of JCDSL was asked, and there was enough part marking for this. For 6 marks there was enough part marking, like EVA negative was of some mark, no pat was of marks, then if no pat is correct then there is marks. Here many students got this provision part incorrect. Then computation of capital employed also, some students did not knew how to calculate EVA, so they could not understand which capital employed to be taken. So opening capital employed is required to be taken, and then adjusted opening capital employed, will come by adding this 2. Some students forgot to add non-cash items, and then WACC was also required for working purpose. So you see 1, 2, 3 is no pat, 4 workings were there, and for that 6 marks were allocated. So we got it fully correct. So there is no ambiguity in this particular question. Possibly he was very confident, that's why he did question 1 first, because it was the same question of ICMAT, and then question 3 also it was there in that ICMAT, even it was there in the old study mat. Okay, so he's revised everything well. You see, first part is no pat. For no pat he got everything correct, 2 marks. Then capital employed also 2 marks were allocated for this. And one beautiful thing that I liked about him is all his assumptions. Sometimes the question will ask you to put the assumptions, then there is marks for assumption. He wrote everything well to explain his answer. Then for cost of debt also he got the good marks, 8%, and EVA also. The institute has given step marking for every step. Okay, so if some students, they have done just cost of capital correct, or capital employed correct, so they have got their step marks for this. So 0.16 is negative balance. Then my point was, अभी क्या होता है जब आप पढ़ते हो तो आप कैलकुलेशन करते हो ना, तो यू जस्ट see this as a practical question and you just focus on calculation. Like evaluate has got 4 marks. So evaluation, you don't focus, you don't read properly, you don't understand properly, you don't make points for this, and when it comes you are not able to write. So evaluation of financial performance, what is it about? So presently it is distorting value. Then the negative EVA raised the question of sustainability of business. Prominent reason of negative EVA may be higher cost of equity, that is 15%. It is worth noting that despite around 73.4% revenue from WDO, which is regulated one and wherein demand is guaranteed in future, hence investing risk shall be low. Okay. Another major reason of negative EVA may be cap on ROC in case of WDO. Hence, NOPAT can't be raised beyond a level. JCDL can focus on WPO to increase its NOPAT, or it can slash its capital employed by selling unutilized or underutilized assets. So, from where the institute has created this answer, it's the same answer of what is given in your institute material. Bold and italics means that has to be present in your answer in some way or other way. So let's see his answer. Evaluation of performance of JCDL using EVA. We can observe that EVA is negative. It implies that it is not able to recover its own cost of capital, thus value is negative. This is mainly because of cost of equity is very high. Got the point? I have not seen any other copy which is explaining the reasons of negative EVA like this. This should not be the case because JCDL derives almost 73% of its income from WDO. This is a regulated business for which demand is guaranteed in future. So same tone, same language is already there. Then hence the cost of equity should be ideally low. Also the company has to take decisions to improve EVA, maybe improving the net profit, NOPAT, by reducing cost or increasing prices, or another option is to dispose some of the assets which are not utilized for a long time. So it's evaluate is not just about whether it positive or negative is beneficial or not. Okay, so we all need to now understand that you can't just write about this positive and negative thing. You will have to write about the full, even the suggestions to improve EVA. For third part, ROC was required from regulated business. So operating profit by capital employed, it is coming 6.25% and it is within the acceptable cap limit of 6.5. Okay, so this same thing has been done over here, so that's not a problem. I just want you to see everything. Please don't skip this in between. पूरा देखो इसको. It will be an eye opener for you that why students could not score. Institute कोई आपका दुश्मन नहीं है कि आपका मार्क्स काटेगा. पॉइंट इज मैच नहीं हो रहा है, आपका आंसर और इंस्टीट्यूट का एक्सपेक्टेशन मैच नहीं हो रहा है. नेक्स्ट पार्ट 4 में क्वेश्चन पूछा था पार्ट 4 में क्वेश्चन हैड आस्क्ड हाउ JCDL कैन इम्प्रूव इट्स परफॉर्मेंस इन टर्म्स ऑफ प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी एंड EVA इन फ्यूचर. सो for this how the profitability can be improved. Here a bit dicey thing was there, means dicey as in he could not write well as per the standards, so he lost here 2 marks, but just 2 marks. Operating margin of WPO is shown, so for that some marks was allocated for this point. Then there is a scope of expansion in WPO. It can use the WTO activities as source of cash profit to invest in expansion of WPO. Okay, so this was underlined and bold, means institute wanted to see this line for sure, that JCDL is currently using 20% of total water supply for packing operation against the upper cap of 35%. Hence JCDSL shall expand WPO to extent of 175% of current level using the cash generated by regulated operation in WDO. JCDCL may improve profitability by controlling cost, and this is also possible through strict observations of expenses and using cost saving techniques through efficiency improvement. Target should be based on minimal variances and adopting cost reduction methods. It is important here to note that there is only limited scope for increase in operating profit of WDO due to ROCE cap. Limited scope is there. So maximum is possible is 6.5%. So maximum allowed profit is only 114.4. And JCDSL should go to expand its WPO as this is producing higher operating profit margin. So this conclusion was also expected to be written. This bold stuff means bold stuff must be present in your answers. So let's see how he was capable of. So he has calculated this profit margin. For that also he got some marks to show this profit margin of both the divisions. Okay, now he can it's written that we can use resources generated from WDO as an investment for further capital in WPO. The same way, matching line. We can also try to improve the margin of WDO by reducing the cost and increase the savings. The regulator cannot argue that it is making excess profit by charging higher prices. Here he missed that particular thing, that there is a cap. So that particular thing he missed. But let's see. We cannot earn more returns because from business of WDO as maximum, yeah, it's written, cap is written in the second paragraph. Maximum return on capital employed is regulated at 6.5%. There is very little scope of there is very little scope for improving. So he has written everything, you see. There is no such regulations, hence we can earn more profits from investments in WPO operation. So why in step 10 he got 0 marks? Possibly because at the end there was some conclusion required. Possibly this conclusion was required, or maybe that this particular thing was also required, which is underlined by the institute. If you will see, this underlined stuff was not written. We don't know the breakup of marks. I think at the end this particular conclusion, or maybe just this line was missing. So because of this reason he could not get the full marks here. This is my opinion. Means how institute is giving marks. This is important. How institute is giving marks. Okay. We can earn more profits from investments in WPO operations, it's written, but why they have given 0 marks in step 10, that we don't know. Maybe some conclusion was missing, or maybe some cap related detail, we don't know. Cap related details were missing, not ROCE cap, this particular information. 20% of water supply for packing operation against the upper cap of 35%, maybe because of this. Okay. Next, question 4 was an easy. I think many of us scored well here, and this question number 4, first part was of 5 marks. So whatever way students have done, just that you have to write both financial and non-financial. Advice means you cannot just write about financials. So he has also done it correct. Question 4, he has also done it correct. He's showing 5. Let us see question number 4. Yeah, it's full correct. So 3 marks for the calculation part and 2 marks for the non-financial. And non-financial is again the same thing. What if an employee forgets his card? What if the system is not working on a particular day? Does not have adequate balance in the card? These are the other factors. The use of labor involves an human touch which cannot be quantified in terms of money. So these were the only terms that were written in the institute material also, and must be there in this suggested answer. Let's check out. Human effects are hard to quantify. Then what if employee forgets to carry the smart card? Or there is one more written. So institute has just considered any 2 points and given you good marks for this. And whatever way you have done the working, it has accepted all the working. There is no condition by the institute on presentation of practical calculation. So practical calculation, you must present it well, but there is no condition on presentation. But in theory, institute is also very particular that you need to give them the correct points. So it's more written on more details, nature and terms of employment in case of supervisors who will be retrenched and legal implication for this. Employee need to pay in advance. So there is usually smart card comes with automated payment mechanism. So how many employees willing to pay upfront? So it's not that they have asked to put all the points. If you have given any 2 points, you have got full marks. Any 2 points. But if you just write rigid, it is not accepted as a point. Employee point is there. Then human effect point is there. Laid off point is there. Automated payment or pay in advance point is there. So they have given more points in suggested answer, but that's not required. For second part, which our student has not done, but many of have tried to do this, 1 2 3 4 5, pricing strategies part. Pricing strategies. Sealed bid, skimming, premium pricing, market price and demand based pricing. So for this situation, this is sealed bid because it is a government contract. Skimming, okay. Then third one is premium or skimming. Fourth one is market price, going rate price. Here they are saying demand based pricing. Where many of students have written value based pricing or skimming pricing. I don't know why they have not marked it correct, but I feel that is correct. But point is, institute just matches. Demand based pricing has to be there. What is demand based pricing is nowhere explained in institute material properly, so it is a new pricing that they have explored. Anyways, not a problem. 4b is a TQM question. Analyze and calculate the minimum reduction. So everyone has got marks here, whoever have done it correct in whatever way. Many of students could not do this part 2 correctly. I have seen whatever copies, other copies. This guy has done both correct, and this transfer pricing sum many of students could not actually do correctly. So why, I will just share, but first let me show 4b for this student. 1500 is correct, and that mean required rejection is 4.33%. so this is also correct. So if not in percent, if you have written in terms of units, then also you are getting full marks for that. In part C, this student could not score. He has done some mistake here in transfer pricing question. Okay, so there was one loophole here in this question. Towards the end, the question was saying that X want to fix uniform transfer price for both Y and Z. So this was the twist of the question. This price will be for division transfer only, and it has nothing to do with outside sales. It has we have done similar question in our classes because this is there in institute material. So transfer price is not given, so you have to first find out maximum transfer price payable by Y and Z, and using those two transfer price you'll have to fix which would be the uniform transfer price. So if you'll see here, for B I'm not going through because 1500 whatever way, even by tabular presentation or by paragraph presentation, institute has given full marks, and 80 units whoever has shown, or if they have shown by some percentage, institute has given full marks. Come to that transfer pricing question. Here first we have found internal transfer price. So first is maximum transfer price by Y is 32 and by Z is 27. So since Z will never pay more than 27, the uniform transfer price selected is 27. So this was the trick. So based on 27, this contribution per unit have been derived. Some students have taken here instead of 27 in case of Y, some students have taken 32. So definitely institute has not given marks for this taking this 32. Institute is giving marks only when you are taking 27 in both. So this is the trick here, and rest you know the contribution from each of the case. And decision on capacity utilization will be now based on seeing the contribution per unit in each case. In division Y, it will operate at 100% capacity, and division Y's production will be 5000 units, and division Z is already operating at full capacity, so no further expansion is possible. Optimal production for division Y will be 2500 units only, that is 100% of division's production capacity. If you see the details here, for Z total capacity is 2500 and demand is 3000, so maximum that Z can sell is 2500, and for Y demand is 5000 and external demand is also 5000. There was one line written here that for using every 10% of idle production capacity there has to be additional fixed cost of 9000 rupees. This possibly many of students could not utilize, and this particular line was also there in the question that currently X is working at 60%, Y is working at 80% and Z is working at 100%. So since Z is already working at 100%, so nothing is to be evaluated in case of Z. So Y is working at 80%, that means Y is producing 4000 units. Okay, so should he produce another 1000 units? So for that he will have to incur additional fixed cost for every 10% of idle capacity. For X, it is currently working at 60%, so it has to evaluate whether I should go to 100% in order to also serve to needs of Y and Z, because X can sell otherwise to Y and Z. X otherwise किसको सेल कर सकता है? Y और Z को कर सकता है. तो Y के लिए क्या लिखा हुआ है? Y in division Y idle capacity can be utilized up to 1000 units. 80% already यूज करे तो 1000 और बच गया, which is equal to 20% of capacity, जिसके कारण additional fixed cost आ जाएगा. Additional fixed cost will be 18,000. Additional fixed cost will be 18,000 because of this. Against the contribution of 20,000, that 20,000 they are considering 20 from here and at a transfer price of 27 per unit. So they are just considering that if y gets some units from transfer then that is when used. इसमें स्टूडेंट का मिस्टेक हो सकता है कि वो जब इवेलुएट कर रहा है तो 20,000 नहीं ले रहा है, वो हो सकता है परचेज फ्रॉम आउटसाइड के हिसाब से कर रहा है, तो उसको नॉन वायबल भी लग सकता है. इसमें एक एम्बिग्विटी आता है कि वाई दिस 20 हैज़ बिन टेकन फॉर द पर्पज ऑफ इवेल्युएशन. ओके, सो this ambiguity is there. We will address that ambiguity later, but the objective of this discussion is to understand how to write in answer paper. I am just trying to show you the basic crux of this question, the trick part of this question. And since division Z it's already operating at full capacity, no further expansion is possible. Optimal production for Z, it's a printing error I think, will be 2500 units only. Okay, and X is currently operating at 60%, so rest 40% will incur additional fixed cost of 36,000, and this extra capacity will be utilized only for the transfer to the extent of 7,500, which can be internally transferred. If you see here, in case of X, 15,000 is the capacity. It is operating 60%, so 15,000 into 60% is 9,000. Okay, from 9,000 external demand is 7,500. So what does this mean? 1,500 is already available extra. In this, if you will see that 15,000 units is the current capacity and 60% they are using, means 9,000 they are using. External demand is 7,500. So you can say 1,500 is already unutilized above external demand. So X can try to meet the demand of Y and Z. So it will require another 7,500 units to be produced. So 7,500 can be produced easily. How? 1,500 is already idle and rest 40% of 15,000 is 6,000. So 6,000 plus 1,500, 7,500 का demand meet हो जाएगा. So this is what is written also here in this paragraph, which some students could not comprehend possibly in hurry. It's properly written here that division Y and Z demand is 7,500 units, and this can be met by 1,500 units which is available already, and rest 6,000 can be by enhancing the capacity, which will increase the fixed cost by 36,000, and there will be additional contribution of 54,000. So this seems to be completely feasible. And optimal production for division X will be 15,000 units. That is a division's full production capacity. So this way you had to first analyze the avoidable fixed cost and then ultimately at the end present the full conclusion. Okay, and net gain in this full conclusion. Net gain also is required. Net gain in the present scenario and recommended scenario. Usually we don't produce net gain in the present scenario, ये हमारा skip हो जाता है, but यहाँ पे दिया हुआ इसका मतलब आपको ये करना था. ये वाला मेरे हिसाब से एक इम्पॉर्टेंट चीज़ था. इस क्वेश्चन को लेके बहुत सारे स्टूडेंट्स में कन्फ्यूजन आया एग्ज़ाम हॉल में, इवन दो ये सिमिलर टाइप का क्वेश्चन किया हुआ था. स्टिल some of students I saw that could manage to just compute the transfer price, and some of the students could manage to get just this two transfer price, and very few could only understand that uniform transfer price means we have to take such transfer price which is same in both. तो ये मेरे हिसाब से ट्रिकी था और इस स्टूडेंट का भी ऐसा ही हुआ, that he could only manage to find out the transfer price. Interestingly, he could understand the uniform transfer price, and he has concluded at one place maximum transfer price is 27 32, from y it is 32, from x it is 27, and all those evaluation went wrong, so he lost some marks here. Okay. Uniform transfer price, he could get it, so for that he was awarded one more mark, extra 1 mark. So rest all evaluation and recommendation could not come proper, and I understand most of the students also went wrong here. So you have to practice the questions to understand, and sometimes there will be 1-2 line addition which sometimes change the entire fragrance of the question. Okay, so question 4 is done. I want to show you another question, which is question 5 and 6. So question 5 was of life cycle costing, if you remember. Here there was one printing thing in exam, that in exam hall they had given 30% here only for this option, but now in suggested answer they have printed 30% in middle. So that's how students have done it in two different ways. Some students have assumed 30% is common for both, some students have assumed 30% for just 600 units, and the solution here given in suggested answer is for two different cases, and both have been equally rewarded, provided you have also written about some other factors which are concerning the decision. So if you see, advice is 600 units and 900 units, there are two options, and some students have calculated this profitability, so they have got full marks. One very important was to write about the development cost, so there was 1 mark allocated for this, and alternatively for 5A this working has also been done by a lot of students, and this has been awarded full marks. And here also development cost was must to be written. Development cost was must to be written. Okay, and apart from this, non-financial considerations are to be mentioned. Non-financial considerations, some people have given lot of different points, but institute is expecting possibly some sort of explanation here. Pure financial consideration will mean that 900 units should be produced. It will ensure larger market share. This particular point was not mentioned by most of the students, so they lost some marks for this. Availability of raw material and labor also need to be considered in case of scarcity of any of these, any factor of production. AMKP may opt the plant having 600 units capacity. I felt that this and this particular thing was not given in the non-financial considerations by most of the students. So this working has been done by assuming 30% is applicable in both 600 and 900, and here 600 and 900 has been taken by taking 30% in just first column and using the same variable cost for both. So that way the decision is getting reversed. Here 600 units is coming as the preferred. Okay, so based on this you will have to write the conclusions, and non-financial factors about material labor was not written by anyone. Okay, so that way they lost some 1 or 2 mark on this, otherwise this was good. Here also this student got a little lesser marks in this 5A because of that non-financial reasons. आओ 5A देखो. This is 5A. he got full marks for contribution, 49 lakh and that 48 lakh thing, something 48 lakh 80,000 or 18,000. And then development cost, important assumption was to be written, and here some marks got deducted because the non-financial factor was not satisfactorily written. Okay, and for 5B most of the students did not get good marks, but he got full 10 out of 10 here, that Osaka Tea Company question. Okay, let us see first what is expected in institute material. What is first expected in institute material? In 5B1 you have to first write about quality is most critical success factor. So whoever have just written even one line for this, they have got the full marks. Then you have to write about price variance. You have to write about adverse efficiency variance. You have to write about the brand, that is what is Osaka Tea about and its main aim, focused on high quality, high status association. Okay, then you have to write about adverse sales price variance, favorable sales volume variance, market price sensitive. Osaka is intending to expand its market to retail market and sits off by reducing the price, which is opposing its current strategy. And it is important for Osaka to have a perception of exclusivity in alignment with present strategy. Therefore, management should monitor the trends of variance on regular basis and take appropriate action in case of evidence of any decline in quality. तो ये सब इसमें लिखना था, और इन्होंने क्या लिखा है वो देखिए आप। ये देखिए क्वालिटी के बारे में लिखा, जो मेन क्रिटिकल सक्सेस फैक्टर है, वैसे ही इन्वर्टेड कॉमर्स में, ठीक है। सो ही गॉट मार्क्स फॉर दिस। देन ही रोट अबाउट एडवर्स सेल्स प्राइस वेरिएंस एंड सेल्स वॉल्यूम वेरिएंस, ही गॉट मार्क्स फॉर दिस। Then he also wrote about the main aim, like it should continuously monitor the quality and all, so he got marks for this. And then he also gave one suggestion about what the company should do, can open a separate division for retail and direct consumers. Then he wrote about purchase price variance. Then he wrote about labor efficiency variance. This fixed cost variance was extra, for which he did not got any marks and it was not required. So for this he got full 10 out of 10. पॉइंट ये है कि पॉइंट है, पॉइंट ये है कि पॉइंट्स है. If you don't write the points, don't expect the marks. Okay, just the thing is we don't know the exact marks breakup by the institute. However, if you really want to know, you can go to our Telegram channel. Okay, in this video description also I will give you the link of marks analysis of question as to which step has been given which marks. For that I have also prepared a separate video before. Question 6 was not attempted by this student. Question 6A was a different question related to evaluation of strike. Here many of the students could not actually comprehend what is to be done, and there was just one small confusion, as in what would be the selling price while evaluating this profit or loss with and without strike. So selling price यहाँ पे जब लेना है तो दोनों में एक में 2000 करके लेना है और ड्यूरिंग स्ट्राइक पीरियड का 2000 का 75% लेना है और यहाँ पे 2000 लेना है। बाकी सब डुएबल था, 2 सिनेरियो बनाकर करो विदाउट स्ट्राइक विद स्ट्राइक, तो ये इस तरह से वॉल्यूम एनालिसिस करने से बाकी सब डुएबल था। जब मैंने इसको अटेम्प्ट किया था तो मैं ये समझा था कि क्वेश्चन है कि 75% सबके लिए लागू है, बट एक्चुअली 75% सिर्फ स्ट्राइक पीरियड के लिए लागू है, स्ट्राइक पीरियड का वॉल्यूम के लिए, बट बाकी सबके लिए 2000 लेना है। ये थोड़ा इंटरप्रिटेशन का इश्यूज हो सकता है। बेस्ड ऑन दैट पार्ट 2 और पार्ट 3 बहुत ईजी था, इसमें सब कोई करेक्टली लिखे। एंड लास्ट क्वेश्चन ऑफ स्टैंडर्ड कॉस्टिंग, लेबर रेट एंड एफिशिएंसी वेरिएंस was a simple thing to do, for which 3 marks was there and 7 marks was awarded for interpretation, which many of the students could not write well. So interpretation has to be written alternatively. They are given that if somebody is writing about why favorable rate variance has come and why adverse efficiency variance has come, then they are writing about less skilled labor was used than provided for in standard, fall in overall wage rate, inappropriately high setting of standard cost of direct labor, which may be attributed to inaccurate planning. So there may be inaccurate planning also, because of which labor rate variance may be favorable. If you are keeping your standard rate very high inaccurately, then it may result in favorable labor rate variance. Then we have labor efficiency variance of 19,800 adverse, which is hiring of less skilled labor than the standard, achieving lower learning curve or idle time incurred during a period caused by disruption or stoppage of work. That can be reason of efficiency variance. And sometimes due to labor rate variance, labor efficiency variance also gets affected, so that particular thing also needs to be written. So students who have written this usually have got marks. Okay, this student has not done. I am just trying to complete this discussion by referring to all this. And otherwise there is another way to write that favorable rate variance indicates that expenditure was 71,200 less than the standard, because a lower than standard rate was paid for each hour of labor. This could mean less skilled labor was used, and this then lowered efficiency, with the result that efficiency was lower than the expected, and perhaps poor material handling and high rates of rejection too. This throughout analysis shows a positive impact of 17,800 on profit, for which labor rate variance is the main contributor. So instead of writing the reasons for the variance, you could have just written one reason, like less skilled labor has resulted in lowered efficiency, which might have also resulted in poor material handling, and overall impact is of this amount, and of which labor rate variance is the main contributor. This is also a way of interpretation, or you can interpret it like this. Okay, we have ignored variable overhead. And one more thing, very few students have done this working for material usage variance in this sum, because the question was focused on labor rate and efficiency variance only. If you will see, interpretation was only for labor rate and efficiency, although the detail of variable overhead and material was also given. One student only I saw that in my sampling, that he has also done the variance analysis for material. And in workings here, if you see, they have also compared, after labor rate efficiency, they have also compared material usage variance to show that material usage variance is also adverse because of labor inefficiency possibly. तो ये थोड़ा सा यहाँ पर एक नया चीज़ था कि MUV को भी एडवर्स दिखाया गया है. ओके, तो ये कोई जनरली नहीं करता इस समय, बिकॉज पूछा नहीं था. एंड आई डोंट थिंक उसका कैलकुलेशन में उन्होंने मार्क्स काटा, मेन इंटरप्रिटेशन में उसका मार्क्स कटा है, जो भी स्टूडेंट ने इसको रेफ़र नहीं किया. और अदरवाइज इंटरप्रिटेशन में यहाँ पर एक देखिए मटेरियल को लेके भी लिखा है, एंड हाई रेट ऑफ रिजेक्शन ऑल्सो अफेक्ट्स लेबर एफिशिएंसी. दैट इज़ one line has to be given for material usage variance, which we usually don't do. And why we have ignored variable overheads? Possibly labor adverse है तो variable overhead भी adverse होगा, because variable overhead varies with labor hours only. तो इससे क्या हुआ with session से, through this video session you have also understood the intricacies of your November 20 paper as a comparison with suggested answer, and also you have understood how you could score 83 marks how you could score 83 marks even, without taking much help from anybody. So this particular answer sheet is an inspiration for all of us to understand what institute expects. So you have to be thoroughly prepared with all the institute resources. Just stick to institute resources completely. And our material, as you know, Divya Jadi Booty book is a resource which is compilation of all institute questions up to date. Recently case study digest have come, that also you must study thoroughly. Again, if you just read the question and try to formulate your own answers, your own points, will not get marks. You'll have to understand the points that have been highlighted by the institute and then revise it 2-3 times to remember the things. That is only your path to success. To conclude, I'll just highlight again that, dear students, institute is just expecting 2 things from you. It is saying practicals. For practicals, practice, don't see, you practice. Second, for theory, don't just understand, please learn the points. You can explain in your own way, but learn the points. And theory is not just from your concept notes. Theory is also from the question and answers provided by the institute. There is theory in the practical part also. This question and answer is also of 2 parts, theory part as well as practical part. Okay. For some reasons, I won't be able to share this answer script with you because it has to be kept confidential. Please don't ask for this answer script. You can watch this video nth number of times. I am unable to share this answer script with you. In this video description, you will find marking pattern Excel sheet which I prepared for stepwise marking, as much as I could make out from institute's pattern. That you will find in this description box link. That's all in this. Thank you. All the best. I hope the session was helpful and will be your guiding factor for your upcoming exam. Thank you all.